What's going on, runners? Welcome back to the run. Thank you guys for tuning back in again. I greatly appreciate it. All my subscribers, all my new subscribers, everybody, welcome. So I know I told you guys I was going to bring you this video like last week, but I got you this week, and I got some little extras to throw on with this. So let's talk night transportation. So night transportation is basically the little brother of Swift, right? Now Night and Swift are together. Night Swift, right? They're a thing now. They go together. But you know, Brother Blue, Big Red, they're the same thing. They operate the same equipment. They operate the Zonars. They operate, you know, pretty much the same truck equipment. Everything's pretty much the same. The only difference that I noticed, because I spent about 60 days, a little bit less than 60 days at night. The one thing I noticed that night was that they have very niche routes. So for example, I did 7 Western when I was with Swift, right? But I never touched New Mexico, never really touched Montana, touched Colorado once, and never really went through Nevada for some, like I went through Nevada, but never had a stop in Nevada or in like Vegas. But with Night, when I got on, I told them what I wanted, and they found a route, or they didn't find a route. They had a route that literally ran from Rancho Cucamonga to Arizona, just up and down the 10. Pew, 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 pew. So that's how the trucks sound too. Pew, 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 pew. But yeah, it just ran. I would go into Buckeye or Phoenix. Either I would stay the night at their yard, or I would pick up, and if depending on how fast I was, I could turn around and make it back. It just depends. Or at least make it more of the way back. But I rather stay in their yard in Phoenix. They had a nice yard. They had a bowling alley. They got a basketball court. Also free showers and stuff like that. So why not just stay at the yard, right? Why go to a Love's if you're not getting gas? So anyway, and then I would drop off something in Arizona, go back empty to, I would go into California, but close to the border, pick up something from a yard that had Home Depot equipment, drop the Home Depot equipment off at the Home Depot yard. I think it's in Riverside or something like that, or Rancho Cucamonga, one of the cities. And then I would spend the night at the night yard again, turn around and do it the next day. So I was just back and forth, back and forth. So they have those little niche routes. What I would tell you to do is, let me take this out. What I would tell you to do is that if you want to go to Night or any of these mega carriers, ask them what their routes are and tell them what you want to do. I asked them, hey, do you have anything that's like strictly West Coast? Arizona and back, maybe. Or Vegas and back, or something like that. And they found that route because I wanted to be closer to home. Now, I live in San Diego, so closer to home and trucking is still kind of far. Because if I lived in Riverside, it's different. I could just come home every night, get in my truck and go, or every day and get in my truck and go. But I lived in San Diego, so I would literally have to drive another hour and a half to go home to come back. It doesn't work like that. Or I wasn't able to make it work. So when you talk to them, tell them what you want, how you want, yada, yada, yada. The hiring process is pretty much the same. You're going to do your driver pulse, which is like an app you can download, do all your paperwork, stuff like that. You'll go to their orientation, which is, if you're an experienced driver, I think it's 2 days. Yeah, I think it's 2 days. And then you get your truck on like the second day or whatever. Like for me, my truck was in Arizona, so they got me a car. I drove to Arizona, got my stuff, came back. For you inexperienced people, you know, you're going to have to go through the Squires Academy, which is like the Swift Academy. It's out there in Arizona. Excuse me. I don't know if they have a partner school in California. I know they have probably one up in Tulare. But go to the Squires Academy, do your training, your mentorship. I never did any of the mentorship, so I don't know anything about that. But they do have very niche things. They have the port service, which Swift has port service, but I think I see more Night trucks running the port. So if you want to do port stuff, get your TWIC card, do that. They have a reefer division. Their reefer division, they drive like gray and purple trucks, which is really cool. The only thing with their reefer division is they're not as lenient as Swift's reefer division, and you got to be out at least 3 weeks for 2 days of home time. So keep that in mind. If you're a non-trucker, out for 3 weeks, home for 2 days sounds like a ripoff, and it kind of is. But you're home for 3 days, you out for 3 weeks, you mandatory, and then you're home for 2 days. So that's the difference between the reefer divisions. Big dry van division. And yeah, they're very niche with what they do. Only thing I really didn't like about them was the communication. Swift to me has better communication than Knight had. Also, I believe Swift had better trucks than Knight had. Not saying that Knight has crappy trucks. I'm a little bit biased, but I think Swift kept up their trucks a little bit better. But shout out to all the maintenance people that watch these videos, like all you diesel mechanics, body shop guys, all that. Hey, it doesn't happen without you guys, and much respect to you guys. So if you're considering Knight, it's going to be the same drug test, same everything. But the big thing is, if it works for you, go to them. If you want a little bit more diversity, go to Swift. If you want a little bit more specialized or a little bit more like niche kind of driving, go to Knight. They're still great companies. I think in certain divisions, Knight might pay a little bit more. They kind of jip me with my experience, but whatever, it is what it is. But Knight's still a good company. I wouldn't say not go to them, but it'll fit for some people and it won't fit for other people. Okay? But let me get into this topic too. They talked about driver-facing cameras. Swift did a couple weeks ago. Now everybody knows driver-facing cameras is a big deal in the trucking industry. It's the OTR trucking industry. Us local guys, we've dealt with inward-facing cameras forever. It's an insurance thing, right? So we're used to it. We're used to Big Brother watching us. But if you've never been over the road and you got a camera on that's always recording, or that could possibly always be recording, and you're naked in the back of your truck, or you're doing something or whatever, it's like it takes away a little bit of that freedom. Now we have outward facing cameras, which, to be fair, it saved my butt a couple of times. Cars stopping in front of me or cutting me off and stuff like that. So the outward facing cameras are fine. I don't understand why Swift is changing the system now to have inward facing cameras. And the excuse that they gave was kind of weak. It'll be inward facing and you can put tape over the inward facing camera because it's just the system. I don't believe that. What I think is going to happen is they have inward facing cameras. Maybe if everybody stays on their P's and Q's, they're not going to mandate that thing turn on. Because if I'm not mistaken, one of these truck companies told their drivers that if they wanted inward facing cameras, they'll get an extra 5 cents a mile or 10 cents a mile or something like that. I don't know if that's still around, and if you know about that, please put that in the comments below, but I think that's a load of crap. But what I think is going to happen is it's going to stay off until enough people get in accidents, and then they're going to make some excuse about safety, and then those cameras are going to cut on and you're not going to be able to turn them off. With the inward facing cameras for the local guys, they always say it only records the previous 10 seconds. So if you get in an accident, it records 10 seconds or so prior to the accident, then up to the accident. But if I've had an incident where I had to go and review the tape and they had at least a minute of my footage. Now they can't watch it in real time. They can't even pull it. It only flags it when it has an accident. Then it'll flag. And then, or if you call them and say, hey, I had an incident, then they got to go in, manually pull it, and then figure out what happened. I just don't believe it's going to stay like that. I think they're going to come up with a reason to make sure that they're going to be able to see you for whatever reason, because it's their insurance rates. If they can see and they can blame you for an accident, their insurance is going to help their insurance. All I can say is, for you OTR guys, keep fighting it. Because I know privacy is a big thing, especially when you ride. You don't need people listening to your phone conversations, anything like that. Understand why they're trying to do it, but also don't be stupid and know that, this camera's here. I could just put a sticker in front of it and you guys aren't going to ever turn it on. Wrong. No, that's not going to happen. I think the outward facing cameras were fine. Only thing I didn't like about it was the U-turn feature. I had to make a U-turn at one point, because I had to, highway patrol shut the road down because it was something was going on, so I had to U-turn, and I got flagged for it. But they could see that the highway patrol was turning everybody around. So, you know, and it's on a point system. So real quick too, with Swift, Knight, and a lot of these other mega carriers, you're on a point system. So every time you get flagged on that camera, your points drop below or go above a certain threshold. If it stays above that certain threshold, you won't be able to get bonuses. You won't be able to get be a mentor. You won't be able to do a lot of these things until your points go under. So that shot my points up, and it wasn't even my fault. But anyway, if you're scared about driving faced with cameras, just keep your ears to the streets and look out for any other news. But you Swift drivers, if by the time they actually roll this out, it's probably going to be like the end of the year on all of their trucks, maybe in the next year. It's only going to be a few trucks that have it. And I'm telling you, they're probably going to find some excuse to be like, hey, we want to watch you guys. If it was me, I would just show the goods all the time. Say, hey, you guys want to watch me? So here it is. Here's the family jewels, right? Until, you know, they call and complain because nobody wants to look at this. So anyway, that's what I have for you. So for Knight Transportation, I would recommend Knight Transportation if you're looking for something specific, especially the port division, which I hear is really good, and their reefer division if you're cool with staying out for at least 3 weeks. Driver facing cameras, again, local guys, we're already with the business, we already know, but you OTR guys, I would say, you know, try to fight them from looking into your stuff. But until the next video, you guys, I'm gonna get up out of here because I just left the gym. I need to shower and go to bed because I gotta be up at 2 in the morning for another fun-filled day of taking out you guys' trash. So without further ado, peace, love, and I will see you guys on the next one.